Hey everyone, welcome to BoatingTube and this collaboration of BoatingTube with boats.co.uk. I'm a member of many forums, YBW forums, Sea Line forum as a Sea Line owner, and many of the Facebook groups. And there seems to be a lot of chatter going out there with the keyboard warriors that you always see in these forums. But there's a lot of chatter about what's going on in the boating world at the moment with regards to used boats, availability, pricing of boats on the market at the moment. So I thought it'd be great for our Ask the Expert series to get someone in to talk about the market and to explain some of the dynamics that are going on. Clearly, we're still just coming out of a global pandemic, but we've also had Brexit as well. So there's a kind of perfect storm going on of challenges around supply and definitely demand. So I've got for us today on the show James Barke from boats.co.uk. Hey James, thanks for joining us on the show.
How you doing, Neil? All right?
Yeah, very good. For those who have been sleeping in a darkened room since the first man on the moon in 1969, can you tell everyone a little bit about boats.co.uk?
Yeah, so boats.co.uk was started by my father, David, who's he's 80 now, and he still works 5 days a week. I'm the eldest of 4 brothers, and our family have been retailing boats since the late 60s. I was born in 74, and my brothers are all a bit younger than me, but we're all within 10 years. And we work hard in Essex, delivering boats all over the world.
So you've got Essex, but you've also got other places. You're in Poole, and haven't you got a place in the Med as well?
Yeah, so we've got an office in Poole near Sandbanks, and we've got an office in Mallorca, which is in Calador, which is really nice, and it's really sunny all the time.
Is it on the green list at the moment for COVID, I guess?
It's on the green list. It's on the green list, and you can go there, and I advise you do, because it is very, very nice. It's even prettier than Essex.
That's a challenge. So I think we're going to talk about that when we talk about sort of charter boats and stuff. But I think, again, I opened the session off with talking about the fact that there just definitely seems to be like a perfect storm at the moment. And again, I've read a lot of stuff at the moment of people saying, really like to get into boating, my foreign holiday's been cancelled, I want a staycation, should I buy a motorhome, a caravan, a cottage? There seems to be a pent-up demand, an increased demand for boats at the moment, for used boats, especially of the kind of sports kind of flybridge and sports opens. Can you tell us kind of what you're seeing with regards to availability on the market and pricing at the moment, which seems to be a bit crazy?
Well, I think it's fair to say that since the first lockdown and since it was opened up, which I think was May 20, we didn't know what to expect, and it's our feet haven't touched the ground, to be honest, since May 2020. I've never quite seen anything like it. Boats have been coming in and going within a few hours sometimes. Quite normal for boats just to be sold without even hitting our website. We're slightly unusual for a boat dealer. We are a boat broker, but actually we're a boat buyer.
Okay.
And we on average have about £15 million worth of stock. Wow. That's our own company money invested in these boats. So we have to understand the market very, very carefully. Otherwise, we can make some quite costly mistakes. So, as everyone knows, there's been huge demand and there's been very short supply.
Yeah, I'm guessing anyone who's got one is going to kind of hold on to it now. People that maybe thought, oh, not using the boat, sat there for a while, maybe I should sell it. They're actually thinking, actually, I'll get some use out of it again.
Yeah, and what's interesting, I mean, we're filming this in July, and actually we've called the top of the market for this year at the end of April. So actually, since the end of April, the market has softened.
Right.
We look at it weekly, daily. So if you remember, in May, we had a lot of wind and rain in the UK and the temperatures dipped. It was an awful month. Do you remember?
Has it got better? Really, it was a few sunny days, but yeah.
Well, it it was colder.
Yeah.
It was colder, and yeah, I know it's a bit grotty still, but
Yeah.
since then it's actually softened by a few percent. So the highest prices were being fetched at the end of April,
Okay.
and since then we've seen a bit more of realism injected into the market.
Interesting.
In fact, we reduced about 21 boats last week, not by much,
Okay.
but just from the heady prices to a more realistic price. But whatever way you look at it, the market has been excellent for that period of time.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's been some really crazy stories that I've read, and and you mentioned, boats that are going on without even going onto the website, and buyers, literally just, buying boats without a survey, without seeing them, and things like that, just because, again, there's just not the supply, and clearly there is this this increased demand. Again, what would be your kind of recommendation today for people? I was on, say, our Sea Line forum last night, and there's the chap saying, I took a hire boat out a couple of weeks ago, really want to buy a boat now because really liked it. What would be your kind of tips? Anything? Your website's great, I think, and your YouTube channel is actually great. You don't sell, you're not doing a hard sell. You actually got some great informational content on there. But again, what would be your tips for anyone looking to buy a boat today in July? Should they wait? Should they hold off? Should they buy now sort of a premium price? What's the deal? Should you enter the market now?
I think the first thing is you have to slice the market into sectors. So if you're looking at boats up to 40 feet, if you can find anything that fits the bill and is in good order and seems to be a reasonable price, then you have to play that trade-off by paying a little bit extra, but then enjoying it this year. I'm a true believer in getting on with things, because we don't know how long any of us are going to be here. So I always say to people, get on with it. And I think in one of my videos I said, you've got to just enjoy boating as quickly as possible. The saddest thing I ever see is people that I've seen at shows for 5 years in a row and they've still not done
and they
it.
keep coming back to you. I remember that video. You said that they come back every year. Have you bought a boat? No, still looking for the right one.
And they just, when they've done it, they say the only mistake they made was wasting 5 years talking about it. So that's always my advice. So the sector up to 40 foot, unfortunately, is the busiest sector. So you're going to pay the biggest premiums. Right. We're coming up to mid-July. I think counterintuitively, you'll think I'm going to say just get out there and do it. I think now is the time to pause. I would, if you're wanting a boat now, I'd wait till September.
Okay.
Dealers like us. No, it's not what you think. I always say as I
thought you were going to do a hard sell.
No. We've got very little stock at the moment. Okay. I've probably got, I don't know, I mean, this sounds like a lot, but I've probably got 70 boats. We'd normally have 200, wow. to give you some idea. So the choice is limited. So I would probably say, if you haven't got a deal underway by now, I would wait till September. We are getting boats listed at the moment where people haven't been able to use them as they had thought, or they're now able to go abroad. So there are a few boats coming back on the market, and if one fits the bill, then okay, talk to your dealer. But generally speaking, I think September is probably going to be the best time now to buy your next boat onwards. And September through to Christmas time, we get generally quieter. So that would be my advice. My advice is probably sit tight, I would say, at the moment, and just wait a month or two before going out and buying.
So obviously that's great, and thanks for saving everyone money. But what about being able to go out boating between kind of now and September? I mean, is there kind of, should you go out and hire a boat? Should you go out and charter a boat? Should you look at, again, kind of boat share schemes and things like that? Is that something to look at? You guys, I think, do chartering, don't you? I think, and is that an interesting part of the market?
Yeah, we do. Obviously, charter's been a very tough part of the market because our boats have been abroad in Mallorca, which you couldn't
get to.
No.
Goodness.
So we've that's been a bit painful, but since they relaxed the restrictions, we've been very busy, and all three of our charter boats, we've got a Princess 72, a Princess 88, and an Oyster 825 sailing boat. All of those are now busy right through to the autumn. There's the odd week here and there. So yes, you can do that if you can get availability, but availability is pretty limited. There are places along the south coast that do hire boats. You can join the boat clubs, but again, I think they're fully subscribed. So you're going to really struggle for this year. So yeah, you could buy a boat. I think the only way to get on the water really this year is if you do buy a boat, but you are still going to be paying a little bit of a premium and having to choose from a narrower selection.
And I've never sort of looked into chartering. We went out and bought our boat way before the lockdown and all the rest of it, so we had that advantage. But how does it work with regards to chartering? Obviously, something like a Princess 72 or an 88. I mean, does that come with crew? Do you crew it yourself? Do you need like a day skipper or a powerboat level 2 or whatever? You know, how does that work? And you know, with regards to using that, is it a package?
Well, when we came to the charter market a few years ago, we decided, like all of the things we do, we just want to simplify the access to the water. Everything we do is about making it easy and not making people feel uncomfortable. So just making things really easy. So our charter boats all come with crew.
Okay.
So all you do is get your own flight to Palma, get a cab from Palma to the boat, because if we set up a taxi for you, it will always be there at the wrong time because your plane will be late. So we just say, get a cab to the boat.
You get to the boat, and
when you get to the boat, we'll take care of everything.
Awesome.
You know, you just get on the boat. We'll have already know from your forms what drinks you want, what food you want, and where you want to go. And if you don't know where to go, we'll tell you the best places to go. So it's pretty low stress. Obviously, it is quite expensive. It doesn't suit a lot of people because the prices. For 8 people on our cheapest boat, you're looking at £30,000 a week.
Okay.
So it's big money. But if you realise that is for 8 people, you divide that by 8, it becomes a bit more affordable. But it is. I'm not pretending it's not a lot of money. No. But you are on 2-4 million pound boats. You know.
Yeah. With a butler and a servant and basically all that stuff on tap. You're just going to sit back and enjoy your holiday and not have to. Who's going to do the washing up? Who's going to do the cooking tonight and all that kind of stuff. So
just chill out and enjoy.
Very, very cool. So we covered obviously buying and chartering. Obviously, I'm sure many of the brokers are out there saying we want you to sell your boat. So what's the deal with regards to people that think to themselves, okay, I could make a quick buck here. I could sell my boat now. I could get out of boating for a couple of years, make a few quid, and then buy cheaper. Is it going to crash and things like that? Or should I upgrade now? We want to get a bigger boat. Is it the time now that we should upgrade because we're going to get a bit more for ours? But yes, we're going to pay a bit more for the next model up. I mean, again, what do you think for regards to the seller's side of things rather than the buyer's side of things?
First of all, I think the supply issue is going to remain for a few years. I can't see it being stepped up that quickly. All the delay and shortages of parts and labour and everything else that we've had, I think is going to carry on for the next couple of years. So I don't think this is a flash in the pan. I think this is going to be the new norm for certainly the next 2 or 3 years, in my opinion, obviously. So I think if you're going to want to get into boating, then this autumn is a good time to buy. If you want to upgrade, you've got the Southampton Boat Show coming up in September.
Okay.
Be prepared for waiting. You may, if you order a new boat, you might have to wait until 2023. Certainly, spring 23
Ouch.
Shouldn't be a shock. I know it sounds terrible, but actually, if you think about it, we're halfway through 21. There's very limited availability for 22 on new boats. I think I've got, let's get this right, I think I've got 3 Princesses that I can deliver for spring, summer 22. Right. So I've only got 3. Wow. So, it's not much. And then 23, you're probably back up to normal availability where you've got a bit more choice. We sell new Princess. We sell new Sea Ray. Sea Ray, I've got probably 6 boats for the whole of next year left. We sell Williams. I've got more of those because they're cheaper. They're tenders. Kawasaki jet skis with a distributor for those. Again, if you want one for next spring, you'll have to be ordering no later than September, I would say, and even then, you'll have to be careful. And then we've got Barke boats, which I've got limited availability for 2022. When it comes to the used boats, which is 80% of our business, 80% of our sales are used boats. It's just what the market's doing. So we will try and replenish our stocks in September, October, November, and through Christmas. But I don't think we'll have the levels of stock that we've been used to over the last few years.
And again, you're buying those in and holding them as stock rather than brokering
We're buying them.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And we're buying them also from Europe. We're buying them from the UK buyers. So we've got an awful lot of experience about the changes with Brexit and the import duties and what we can and what we can't do. And this is not learnt from a textbook or a government bulletin. This is learnt from actually doing it. And I can tell you what's written down and what actually happens are very, very different. And I've got a lot of grey hair, look. And it wasn't that grey in December 20.
Again, that was going to be my next point. So we talked obviously about COVID, and obviously this is pent up demand because we've all been locked down and trapped in our houses, and not being able to go on our foreign holidays that have all been cancelled. And again, if we've had a boat, we're going to keep hold of that. But people that have obviously got boats, some people have boats that are in the Med. They live in the UK or live in a different country, and they go down and fly down for weeks or months during the summer and use their boats in the Mediterranean. But also people do buy boats from the Med and bring them back to the UK. Now, Brexit, there's a perfect storm. We've had COVID, or we had Brexit, then we had COVID. How's that affected the Mediterranean market? Because it certainly seems when I've looked, but again, there's a few boats that I, do the sort of virtual shopping. I can't afford it, but I look at SC42s and S42s from Sea Line because that's my kind of next step up. And I kind of go, oh, they're a bit cheaper when you look at them in the Med versus in the UK. But presumably getting it back from the Med at the moment and paying again VAT and tax and all that kind of stuff is going to bring it closer in line with the UK. So again, how does it working with regards to boats in the Med at the moment with regards to A, bringing them back, or B, being able to buy them out there?
I think the first message that I have to people is that it's complicated, and each boat is totally unique and is dealt with in a totally unique way. We can bring boats back under what we call RGR, which is returned goods relief. So if you've had the boat in the UK within the last 3 years, and then you took it out to Spain or France, we can bring it back without you paying VAT up until the end of July 2023.
Okay.
Sorry, 2022.
Okay.
It was going to end this December. It's being extended by 6 months. So summer 22. We can also bring boats back and pay the VAT, which is obviously quite straightforward. And everything depends on how old the boat was, who owns it, where they've kept it, what date they bought it, and it is quite complex. This is on top of all the complexities of buying a boat from abroad anyway. So I wouldn't advise it for a first boater to go and buy a boat from Italy, for example, because I struggle buying boats from Italy. And I can tell you, I know all the laws, I know all the paperwork, I know all the people on the ground, and even I lose the will to live getting a boat back from Italy, I can tell you. I have done it, and we are doing it, but it's really got to be worth it for us if we're buying, Or if we're doing it for a customer, then unfortunately he's going to get a very hefty bill from us, in addition to the shipping, in addition to the duty and UK tax. So to give you an idea, let's talk about an example. If you're talking about £100,000 boat in Italy, we're talking £10,000 or £15,000 to get her back in shipping. We're talking about £20,000 in VAT, and we're talking about £10,000 to £15,000 in associated additional fees and paperwork from professionals. Wow. So I can't add up very well, but how much is that up to?
That's certainly up to 150 odd. I think
130, 100. It's probably not far short of 150. Yeah. And I bet you can buy that boat in England for about that price.
And be able to go and view it, get a surveyor and crane it out, and not have to go and fly out and fly back in again. And
it hasn't been sun bleached, because a lot of the med boats have always had the problem where they're sitting there baking in the sun, and unless the boat is all white, it does cause issues. So just be very, very careful if you're tempted by what seems to be a low price. If you add what have I added on there, I've added on a lot of night. I've added on 50% of it. Again, that's not a blanket rule. That's a worst case. But if you're, it's a lot.
A couple of other things I wanted to you and to pick up on what you talked about. So you mentioned Southampton Boat Show. Is it really going on? So last year was cancelled. I've seen a few kind of virtual shows. I again watched all the YouTube videos, and Nick Burdham's obviously, and the guys at Motorboat and Yachting have been out doing some show that recently and showing some boats off. But is Southampton going ahead again? Is that going to be your next real show? Is it going to be real rather than a virtual? How's that going to work?
Well, we were ready for last Southampton Boat Show, so September 20, which they were hoping to do, and we got everything ready. All the boats were there. We had a hotel there. I sat down, I booked into the hotel, and it was 8 o'clock the night before, and I was just finishing dinner with our sales guys, and the rug was pulled at that time, and it was so gutting because we'd done so much work. I do think it is going to go ahead. Obviously, the vaccination has done wonders, and there'll be various social distancing features to the show. But as far as we're concerned, it's 100% going ahead. And because there's been such a gap between the last show, I think it's going to be one of the best ever Southampton shows. We're on 5 stands looking after our brands. And we'll certainly we are looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to seeing the customers, showing them all the latest boats, which some people haven't seen for 2 years.
I know, isn't it crazy? To say we've all been, keyboard boaters and doing it via computers rather than actually seeing people in real life. Just to kind of wrap this up, for you again? I'm a boater. I love our boat. We're a ditch dweller. We're on the Thames. We do go out to sea once or twice a year. Once Hammersmith Bridge gets bloody opened up, which is our biggest problem at the moment, getting out the Thames. But what is why boating? Why is it important? Again, what does it do for you? And again, what can you, for anyone out there again who's thinking about it, thinking, should I buy a caravan, a motorhome, or a boat? I know the answer, my answer, but again, why is boating important to you? What does it mean to you?
I think it's really important that everyone remembers that boating, although it can be expensive, and today we've talked about the different things that need to be done. The dealer takes most of that pressure away. But boating is priceless when you have that weekend or that week or even that afternoon on board with your friends or your family, and you experience that tranquility, that freedom, that fresh air. And unless you've been boating, unless you've had your own boat with just you and your family and friends on board, it's very difficult to describe. But those moments you won't get anywhere else. You won't get it in a villa. You won't get it in a motorhome. You'll get different feel-good feelings from those. But I think what you get from boating is truly unique. I think if people snow ski and they enjoy that, and when they're in the middle of that forest looking over the mountain range and the sun's out and it's quiet and they look around and the families around them, they're all skiing, I think that gets close to starting to explain how euphoric and beautiful boating is. And people shouldn't get bogged down with all the paperwork and some of the costs that are involved, because that's what dealers like us do. We do it 7 days a week. We live it, we breathe it, and we take that pressure off you so you can kick back and enjoy your free time. And the thing that customers say to me time and time again, and remember, we sell between 20 and 30 boats a month, every month, all over the UK and Europe. Customers say to me all the time that actually when they get to their boat after leaving work, they feel like they've been transported to another world, and all their worries, all their stress, all their deadlines, all the things that bother them disappear, normally within 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, that's what I've kind of learnt. You know, they just go to another place. And the other thing I would say is I do practice what I preach. Me and my family go boating. We go to Mallorca, or we use boats back at Essex where we're based, or Poole. And so I know how much my family enjoy it. I've got 3 children, 10, 12, 15, and my other half, and we absolutely love it. So it is a privilege, agreed. It's not a cheap thing to do, I understand that. But if you do it, I promise you won't regret it.
Totally agree. And again, there's so many different facets of it. Again, we're on the Thames, pootling along at 4 knots, you know, looking into people's gardens, barbecue at the side, and you know that's gin and tonic and all the rest of it. But again, you can go out to sea, open the taps, and you know go and explore around the coast, and you know drop anchor and sailing, canal boats. There's so many different facets of it. It is an amazing thing. My own story is that I live on my mobile phone. My mobile phone is attached to me all the time, and whenever I'm on the boat, I don't look at it. I never look at my phone. I'm concentrating on driving, chatting, drinking, you know, eating, looking around. Never sit on my phone. It's such a switch off for me from my IT computer based and social media life that all that just gets turned off. And you know,
and the other thing I say, and you're absolutely right with all of that, but the other thing I say is your boat is the key to the world. You can get on your boat, you're on the Thames, you can go under Tower Bridge, you can go to France, you can go to Spain, you can even go to America. You can go anywhere on that boat. And surely if that doesn't fire up people's imaginations, I don't know what can, because you can't do that in a motorhome very easily. You can't do it with a villa at all. And I always say, if you get fed up with the view, move somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. It's always changing. James, thank you ever so much for joining us. We'll get you back for sure. Maybe we'll do a Southampton boat show update.
Yeah, always happy. Always happy.
Pretty cool.
Always
maybe
happy.
or a live stream from one of your charter boats. Maybe I've got lots of ideas. That's really cool. But thank you again for coming on with this. And thank you all for watching this show this afternoon. Again, we wanted to give you a glimpse into what's going on in the market. Please check out boats.co.uk, lots of great boats on the sites, and also check out the YouTube channel. Again, one of the things that I noticed before I reached out to James about doing this video is that their channel is not, again, it's not a hard sell, it's an informational channel. So there's lots of great information about, again, how to buy a boat, top questions to ask your dealer before buying a boat, and all that good stuff on their YouTube channel. Check out BoatingTube, obviously. Check us out, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, and also comment down below who you'd also, or what topics you'd also like to cover on Ask the Expert, or for us to create videos on here on BoatingTube. Stay safe, enjoy boating however you can get out and do it this year, and we'll see you very soon on the next video. Many thanks.